Welcome to Brian's Kitchen again, and we are doing cabbage rolls today. And there is a secret to soft cabbage rolls. And what is that secret? Well, that secret happens to be freezing your cabbage. All you gotta do is freeze the cabbage for a couple days. I cored mine ahead of time, as you can see there. And then you just let them thaw out completely. And once you've let them thaw out like that, what you're gonna do is remove the first few leaves. And because I've cored it like I have right there, that's what's going to make it a heck of a lot easier to take the leaves off. So as you can see, these leaves aren't looking very good. So I'm going to take off the first 3 or 4. And what we're going to use those leaves for is we're not throwing them away. We're actually going to use them to line the pan that is going to have all the cabbage rolls in it. So once you've taken off the first 3 or 4 bad looking leaves, you've got your liners for your pans. Now, there's a rib here in the very center of the cabbage, and I like to fold it like a taco so I can see the rib very clearly. We don't want that rib, so what we're going to do is grab a paring knife and we're going to shave it down. We don't need to cut it out completely. I like to just shave it down so that it's nice and thin and you can roll the cabbage very easily and it's not hard to cut through. So once you've removed that rib, we're going to toss that. Now this is a really big leaf, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this leaf right down the center so that we get 2 leaves instead of just one really big cabbage roll. I do not like big cabbage rolls. See, we got 1 leaf there and we got 2 leaves there. Now when you get to the center of the cabbage like this, the leaves start to get a lot more hard and dense. They're not very great. Some of them are nice for rolling up single cabbage rolls, but when you start to get to the hard leaves, you want to save those for the top to cover them all to prevent them from burning. Now, I'm cooking a lot of cabbage rolls right now, so we're going to put in some carrots, and of course you got to peel your carrots, and we're also going to shred the carrots. Now, don't be an idiot. Obviously, you're going to chop off the ends of the carrot, just like that, and then we're going to start shredding. And in saving you time, I'm going to speed up this video. That way you can see, there we go. See how it looks like cheese? That's what you want. It's gonna melt right in there. Now obviously we got onions. I got 6 pounds of beef, and therefore I'm gonna use a half an onion per pound of beef, which means I'm gonna use 3 onions. And I'm gonna cut off the tip of this root there, but I'm not cutting the root all the way off because I want the onion to stay intact when I'm chopping. So chop off the end, peel it, and then of course you've got a nice clean onion with the root still intact. So you're going to make a bunch of slices there. We're dicing this nice and fine. So you're going to make a couple slices at the top as well. And there you go. Nice fine onion. Mix it all together in a nice big bowl and grab yourself a big old wok. Oh, make sure you clean your oven. That way you keep the haters out of the comments. And yes, I know my wok needs a little bit of work, but whatever. I'm doing a video. So we're going to throw in some avocado oil, as you can see. I use the avocado oil because it doesn't have a really strong flavor and it has a high smoke point. So what we're going to do is just grab your mixture and start sauteing. And here's a little preview of my chefy skills. I'm sure every Asian that is watching this right now is cringing as I try to flip this over. Now don't forget to season your food. Obviously, while it's sauteing, we're going to throw in a couple nice hefty pinches of salt. And then of course we're going to spin that black pepper mill around a whole whack of times. And I'm not measuring here, I'm just kind of going by taste. You want to draw out the liquids and saute them nice. So the mixture I'm using right now is a pork, beef, and veal mixture, and I'm only going to use half of them. So I said I got 6 of them. I'm going to put 3 of them in the bowl here because I only have that much space. And for rice, we're going to use parboiled rice. Parboiled just means half cooked. So I'm going to use about half a cup of rice per pound of ground beef, so about 1.5 cups. Now remove that sauteed stuff from the heat and let it cool all the way. Make sure it's all the way. Now you're going to add half of that mixture because I'm using half the meat. Now this is our spice mixture. We're going to use salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder, of course. And you're going to toss that in. Make sure this is for half the mix, and then of course for the other 3, you're going to have to do that all over again. Now, stupid me, I forgot to put eggs in it, so for per pound of beef, we're going to throw in 3 eggs. So I got my lovely hot oven cleaner to throw in 3 eggs for me. And now there's no easy way to do this. You just got to keep mixing and mixing and mixing. Get your hands dirty, don't be afraid of it. And then once you're all done, you've got a nice mixture. You don't want all the spices to be in one spot, so mix well. Set your oven to 350. Grab a couple huge cans of tomato juice, not tomato sauce, tomato juice. We're gonna crack those open. And you're gonna pour with confidence, because if you pour with confidence, nothing spills all over the counter. So you're gonna add both of them to a really big pot, and we're gonna spice those up a bit as well. Now, make sure you don't forget to rinse out the can and get the rest of that tomato juice and throw it in. Here's your spice mixture. We got some sugar, and I've got garlic powder, salt, onion powder, and black pepper. So remember, this is for half that mixture, so you're gonna do that twice, and then you're just gonna mix it. Mixy, mix, mix. Now, you see my pan is all lined nicely with all those other cabbage leaves. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to put down a couple ladles of tomato sauce so that the cabbage rolls are sitting in sauce already. So I got a nice station here, as you can see. And all you're gonna do is grab a golf ball sized piece of meat and roll it into a tiny little log like this. And then you're gonna wrap the cabbage over top, pull back a little bit to make it nice and tight, and then fold the corners in just like I'm doing. And then it's just a matter of rolling it, hence the term cabbage roll. Isn't that beautiful? Now the next one here is the half sheet. Remember I had those big leaves and I cut them in half, so I put the rib end away from me so that it's easier to roll. And I got my golf ball sized piece of meat. If you think that you have too much meat in your hand, you probably do. So just lessen it. Smaller cabbage rolls are much better. And we're just folding over the sides and rolling, and away we go, just like that. Now, in between layers of cabbage rolls, I add more sauce. Because essentially what you're doing is you're braising all this stuff in the sauce. You're letting it cook in there. So I put as much sauce as I can, and then I added another layer of cabbage rolls, and you guessed it, another layer of sauce as well. And we're gonna cover them as much as we can. Don't make it so that it's overflowing too much, because even this right now is gonna overflow into my oven and it's gonna make a mess. Now, remember those other leaves that you got at the center of the cabbage, those tough ones you didn't want to use for the rolls, I'm using those to cover the other cabbage rolls with so that they don't burn in the oven. And of course, we're going to add aluminum foil to the top. And we do that because it promotes steaming. We're basically steaming and cooking everything inside of here. And what we want to do is make sure we do it for long enough to make that cabbage nice and soft and supple so that you can cut through it with a fork and you don't even need a knife anymore. So I've got everything wrapped up all nice and tight here, and we're going to throw it on into the oven. Now, as you can see, I put an oven liner in the bottom of my oven because it will get messy. There's just no way about it. It will. And 3 hours later, we rip off the top here, and look how much steam comes out of there. Don't they look nice? And all we're going to do is grab my tongs, because I don't want to use my fingers, and we're just going to pull that cabbage back. Look how the sauce thickened up. Doesn't that look so nice? Now don't throw away this cabbage on the top. We're going to use that a little bit later for smaller pans. Now as you can see, there's one cabbage roll missing, and I ate one already. So I'm going to grab another one here, plate it up real nice and fancy, and ooh, look at that, just like butter. Right through, no knife. Now, I could have left them in for even longer. You can do it for 4 or 5 hours and it'll get even softer than this. But this was just perfect for me. And there you go, there's the finished product. Now, I bought some smaller pans so that I could separate all these rolls into a more manageable size, because I don't want to have to heat up 60 of them at once. Maybe I only want to do a dozen or two at a time. So use those leaves you had left over to line these pans now. That way you're not wasting any food. And then you're going to dump as many as you can in here. I think in this particular one I got about 16, 18, it was one of those. And I'm not going to bore you with watching me do this the whole time, but I'm just going to speed this video up real quick. And by the way, I also had a little bit of extra juice left over, so I'm just going to pour some of that over top because I didn't use all of it. And then it came with a little lid too, so I'm going to put this lid in there, fold in the corners there. And what I like to do is label it just so I know when I did it, and sometimes I even put the amount that I did on there. I think this one was 18. So enjoy eating, and thanks for watching.